Hello guys, how are you?
I'm Hardeep Singh. Welcome back to your own YouTube channel. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test, and speaking, you got guesswork. Please, guys, participate in everyday listening and reading practice test to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Press the bell icon for the upcoming notifications. Don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, IELTS updates and recent exams.
Part 1.
You will hear a man talking to a woman who works in a rental agency. Take 30 seconds to look at questions 1 to 4. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4.
Good morning, Lakeside Rentals. How may I help you?
Yes, thank you. I am interested in renting a cottage by the lake this summer.
Wonderful. Let's start by taking down your information. May I have your name, please?
Gregory Thornton.
And what is your mailing address, Mr. Thornton?
That would be Box 7, Hartford, Connecticut.
Box 7. Was that Hartford or Heartland?
Hartford. Hartford.
Ford. Wonderful. All right then, Mr. Thornton. What is the size of your group?
Pardon me?
I mean, how many people in your party? How many people will be staying in the cottage with you?
Oh, right. Just my family. My wife and our 2 sons and myself. So that's 4 people altogether.
Perfect. We have a number of cottages suited for a small group. Now then, when did you want to begin your stay?
We'd like to get there on July 10th, if that's possible. I mean, it's possible for us, of course, but if you have any vacancies then.
Oh, certainly we do. Our busy season really doesn't begin until August 1st.
That's good to hear. We were hoping to stay for a couple of weeks.
Fine. That'll give you plenty of time to enjoy the area. So I'll put you down for 2 weeks.
Yes, I really wish it could be 3, but we have to get back to work before the end of the month.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, take 30 seconds to look at questions 5 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 5 to 10.
I understand. Let's talk about the cottages we have available. Do you want a 2 or a 3 bedroom?
Either one would be fine.
Well then, Pine Cottage is lovely. It has 2 bedrooms and features a porch off the living room, so you can enjoy sitting outside.
Oh, that sounds nice. What's the rental fee?
It's a small cottage, so it's just $700 a week. Our other 2-bedroom is Maple Cottage. It doesn't have a porch, but it does have a large window in the living room with a spectacular view of the lake. It's a bit larger than Pine, plus it has the view, so it goes for $850 a week.
What about a 3-bedroom cottage?
Hemlock Cottage has 3 bedrooms. Are you interested in cooking?
Not while we're on vacation. We weren't looking for a place with a kitchen.
Well then, I suppose the fact that Hemlock has one wouldn't matter to you. And it is our most expensive rental at $925 a week.
So you do have a cheaper 3-bedroom?
Yes, there's Spruce Cottage. Actually, it has an extra small room downstairs, so we call it a 4-bedroom. It goes for $900 a week.
Does it have a view?
No, but it does have a nice little garden in the back.
I'll need some time to think this over. What activities are available at the lake?
We rent both water skis and canoes.
I definitely want to do some paddling.
There's also horseback riding lessons. And we have tennis courts where you can play on your own, and you can also sign up for lessons there.
I haven't been able to pick up a tennis racket since I hurt my elbow last summer.
I'm sorry to hear that. You might want to think about joining some of our guided hikes. There's one every day.
Sounds great. My wife and I will both enjoy that.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 2.
A guide welcoming visitors to the city zoo. First, you have 30 seconds to look at questions 11 to 17. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 17.
Good morning and welcome to the City Zoo. We are excited to have all you teachers here with us today to learn about the zoo and the programs we offer to school children. And we hope that all of you will plan to bring your classes to visit us during this school year. We're open almost every day of the year, including holidays, with the exception of the last week of the year. We close for that entire week. Other than that, you can plan to bring your classes for a visit any day you like, any time between opening at 8 to closing at 5. We try to keep our entrance fees as low as possible, and school groups get a discount of 15% when you bring a group of at least 10 children. You may also want to take advantage of our free days. We don't charge any entrance fee on the first Monday of each month. Let's start with a look at a zoo map so you can get an idea of what's available. Here in the lower left-hand corner is the main entrance. Across the pathway to the east of the entrance is the education building, where we are sitting right now. Here in the northwest corner is the picnic area, which is a good place for you to plan to have lunch with your class. To the right of it is the cafeteria. Lunch, of course, is available there too, but most teachers, I find, prefer to have their students bring their own lunches. The picnic area also looks out over the small lake, just to the south of it, which is in the area where our water birds are. So it's a pretty spot. Just to the south of the water birds is the small mammal house, which most children enjoy visiting. If you'd rather see some large mammals, the elephant house is located across the pathway to the west of the small mammal house. Just north of the elephants, you can visit lizards, crocodiles, and turtles in the reptile house.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, take 30 seconds to look at questions 18 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 18 to 20.
Okay, let's talk about our education programs. At this time, we are set up to serve children from ages 6 to 10. We hope to have something in place for older children by next winter, for the 12 and 13-year-olds, and I can talk a bit about our plans for that a little later. For high school students, up to age 18, we have some plans for them in the works too. Unfortunately, we have nothing for preschool kids, the 4 and 5-year-old set at this time. So, for the primary school kids, we have several programs you can choose from. Animals Up Close is a popular one. kids get a chance to get close to actual zoo animals. While we can't allow the kids to actually pet the animals, they can help with the feeding. And we talk about animal care, keeping the animals clean and healthy, and we give a grooming demonstration. For this, and all our programs, we provide teachers with reading materials to share with the class before the visit. You can also use them as a resource if you plan to test your class on what they learned during the visit. All our programs last 1 hour, and we do expect you to stay with your class during that entire time.
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3.
You'll hear a student called Paul talking to a tutor about a course he is thinking of doing. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Good morning. Come in. You're Paul, are you?
Yes, I spoke to you on the phone.
Yes. Have a seat. You wanted to talk to me about the archaeology course?
Yes, I've read the handbook, but I'd like to find out a few more details before I decide whether to do it.
Right, yes. What would you like to know?
Well, first of all, can I combine the archaeology course with one in anthropology?
Yes, you can combine it with any other subject apart from classical history. That's simply because there's some overlap in the lecture times for those two courses. We weren't able to coordinate them.
Okay, fine. And could you tell me about the modules?
Well, in the first semester, there are 3. All of them are compulsory. We don't offer optional modules till next year.
Right.
The first one focuses on what can be learned from specific artifacts, such as pottery and stone tools. It's called Object Matters, and it's taught by Dr. Morris.
Is that... how is the module presented? I mean, is it lectures?
We refer to the means of presentation as the learning method, and in this case, it's lectures integrated with practical sessions, so it's a mixture.
What about the content? I suppose we'll be looking at different kinds of archaeological remains and how to date them and so on.
To some extent, but the module is basically about processes. First of all, recording material, then classification, then interpretation of the data. That's how archaeologists draw conclusions about their findings. And finally, display. Is that okay?
I think so. Yes, thanks. One other thing. How is the module assessed? Is there an exam?
No, it's all based on coursework.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Okay.
And the second module, that's the one called Towns and Cities, is taught by our department head, Professor Elliott. And as the name suggests, the module's about the origins of built environments and how they developed.
That's mainly factual then, I suppose?
It is really. and for that reason the assessment's by examination. But you may be pleased to know it's an oral rather than a written exam, and...
It sounds a bit scary.
Most of our students find they actually enjoy it, so don't worry too much.
Okay.
And then the title of the third module is Method and Science. And in that, Dr. Thompson will be introducing you to the standard techniques used in archaeological fieldwork and analysis. Things like excavating and dating.
What about the learning method for this module? Are there any lectures, or is it all laboratory work?
Oh, it's half lab work and half seminars. There aren't any lectures. Then, right at the end of the module, you'll take part in a site survey. The date for that is week beginning the 10th of March, but I can't tell you the location yet. That'll be announced later. But I think you'll find it very useful.
Yes, I know someone who went on that last...
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
We'll hear a talk about the effects of our digital world on young people. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
In this lecture series, we're looking at changes occurring due to the rapid spread of digital technology in the last decades of the 20th century. By digital technology, I include any computer-related devices such as email, the internet, cell phones, instant messaging, to name but a few. Today's lecture focuses on the ideas of Mark Prensky and what he believes are the major effects that high exposure to digital technology has had on young people today. Firstly, what exactly does Prensky believe? He argues that because today's young people have been born into a digital world and spend hours simply playing with technology, they've changed in fundamental ways. He believes they're evolving differently, and as a result, process information differently from previous generations. It's even possible that these young people's brains have physically changed, although whether this is literally true isn't yet known. Nor does Prensky go quite this far. Prensky divides people into digital natives and digital immigrants. Today's young people are the digital natives, and they belong in this new digital age because they were born into it and grew up as native speakers of the digital language of computer technology, whereas digital immigrants are those born in the generations before the digital age. Just as those who learn a second language often retain their foreign accent, the immigrants are usually, in varying degrees, not quite as effective at speaking the digital language as the natives are. For example, they're more comfortable finding phone numbers using a phone book or looking up information in an encyclopedia, rather than using the internet as a primary source of information. Prensky calls this the digital accent. Another example of the digital accent is scanning a manual for a computer program rather than assuming the program itself will teach you how to use it. Basically, people with a digital accent have never really stopped relying on their original non-digital means of sourcing information. They prefer doing things as they've always done them without typing something into a computer. Prensky predicts that due to all this, changes are in store, mainly in the area of education. But what do other educators and theorists such as Thomas Allen, Samuel James, and Peter Vander believe? Samuel James from Sydney University agrees with Prensky's predictions. He believes that educators are no longer successful in the way they teach. However, not surprisingly, Prensky has been criticized by more traditional theorists like Peter Vander and Thomas Allen. They disagree with many of Prensky's assertions. Vander argues that a typical classroom is more varied than Prensky believes, with students coming from a range of backgrounds. He maintains that a large percentage of these students are not necessarily proficient with technology, and not all students today fit the one stereotype. And Allen adds that even though most students today have easy access to technology, some just don't find the digital medium appealing. James disagrees, though. He believes that all today's students do share the same basic interest in and knowledge of digital technology. However, James believes our younger students can communicate with their digital immigrant teachers and can still learn using methods which have proven to be successful in the past. James's theories are taken a step further by Allen, who recognizes that both digital immigrants and natives have to deal with vast amounts of information in today's electronic society. Allen maintains that while most young students are proficient in playing computer games and using the web in quite basic ways, they're not used to using the computer at advanced levels. For example, to conduct complex information searches, which are so necessary for university study today. Irrespective of Allen's research, James believes it's possible for computer games to play a major role in making classroom learning more stimulating, and he cites many instances where this would be possible today. However, Vander asserts that rather than focusing on developing games, we should think of better ways to assist teachers, because no computer program comes close to doing what a human teacher does every day.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So guys, don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test and speaking, you got guesswork. Please guys, participate in everyday new IELTS listening and reading practice tests to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. For more IELTS material, visit my official website www.ieltsupdatesandrecentexams.com. The link is given below in the description. If you need PDF files of latest IELTS material, then please join my Telegram channel. So guys, please write your score below the comment section. Again, thanks for listening. God bless you all guys. Stay tuned, stay safe.